You know how to use those, right?
No, I don't know what I'm doing.
You've talked into microphones. Don't bullshit me, Steve.
How many times have you done interviews? I mean, you have to do some surfer and stuff, right?
I was editing Surfer magazine, so there'd be a thing sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk real quiet like that the whole time?
That's his voice. Welcome. Here we go.
And I'm not Tony Hawk.
My brother's here. My older brother, Steve Hawk.
Yeah.
Yay.
One who introduced me to skateboarding and many other vulgar activities.
Wait, vulgar?
I mean, he's my older brother, so...
I don't want to ask any
you know
of those.
what? You're not your
Like
version of
farting
vulgar.
or something?
Yeah, your version of vulgar.
My version was
far outweighs
farting. It was going to be farting.
All right.
God.
Like
It's
gross.
always,
Just gross stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Like toe jam or something.
Took me to see I'm spacing. What was it?
I got knocked out way more recent than
movie?
you.
What's that?
Oh, Richard Pryor.
You took me to see Richard Pryor
Yeah, the movie.
live comedy special when I was not old enough to really understand it.
I think that was his movie. I don't think we saw him actually live. I think he had his
The
live
movie. Yeah,
came
the
out.
movie. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Pryor live
Richard
on
Pryor,
Sunset
yeah.
Strip.
Yeah, but the movie was of his stand-up,
Of his stand-up.
which was
the
hardcore.
raunchiest. Yeah. I mean, I loved it.
One of the best comedy movies, stand-up comedy movies ever made.
He's one of the
Yeah.
greatest comedians
Yeah.
that's ever existed by far. Still to this day, Comedy Store is like, he's a golden god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby Lee has like pushed him in a wheelchair on stage, and Bobby Lee, he's also a legend, but his story of touching him is legendary. Like,
Oh,
he's
just
like,
the fact that he
I
got
rolled
close
Richard
to him.
Pryor on stage, and
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
amazing.
you did?
Yeah.
What was it like? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, he sounds
Yeah.
like a god when he talks about being that close to Richard Pryor.
But I don't think that our mom and dad knew that's where I was going to see the movie.
Right.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. So 79, that you would have been 11.
Yep.
What made you want to hang out with him?
So I'm 12 and a half, 13 years older.
Right.
Well, I liked him. Like, he was just likable, even
Yeah,
though he could be a
I see
terror.
that.
He could be a terror.
Yeah.
But I knew someday he was going to be rich and famous, so I wanted to get in.
You lie. You lie. That's one of my first questions. Like being an older brother and being a surfer and being an athlete, and then you get him into skating, and then he becomes this jerk off that can, you know what I mean? He's like the
Do
king of
anything.
all jerk offs.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like, when you were younger, were you ever jealous or anything?
No, because fortunately, by the time he really got... Well, first of all, we didn't have any sibling rivalry because it wasn't like we were 2 years apart. We were going to fight, you know. Like, I was 12 years older. I was changing his diapers.
He was in college by the time I started skating.
Okay.
And then we skated together for a few years.
Once a week, you come pick me up.
Yeah.
What was that level like when you first started skating together? What was your level?
I was way better. It was killer.
Was that? What,
He was.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, he was. He was.
And it was. Did you think
Well,
that
no,
he?
that wasn't like we were competing.
I know,
no,
but he wasn't anywhere near as good as you.
Well, I was there the first time he stood up on a board. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you ever, when he first started, did you go, man, he might actually be pretty good? Or did he not show any of that? He didn't show any of that, right?
Not for a long time. Yeah, not for a few years. I mean, it was.
I remember were you living in Santa Barbara then? Mm-hmm. So he's living in Santa Barbara in San Diego. It's pretty far drive.
Yeah.
But once a week he would come take me to Oasis Skate Park.
Is that the only time you would get to skate?
Kind of at the park, yeah. Because I wasn't getting rides there a lot from...
Your parents weren't taking you?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was more like just a special thing to go do. I didn't think that I was going to be living there all the time.
Right.
But, then it was just like, oh, I'm going to go skate with Steve.
So you were like, that's like you looked up to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And he would come down and you'd be like, hell yeah, hang out with my older brother.
Yeah, I think it was on Wednesdays. And I'd like, hey, and he'd pick me up and go.
Well, that was probably when I was home for the summer. Because I don't know if I was coming down every week when I was in college.
I remember something about once a week, but maybe it was when you were living in North County.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Or they were planned really far ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
In my head, it was always just a special thing.
Yeah.
So I moved down pretty soon after college. I was back here by 79. So you
so you were living in North County,
right?
Or Escondido.
That's it.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
So once a week was not a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, we established.
But
that.
you took a little kid to the skate park. Did you have friends your age? Well, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, no, but they were all surf friends.
So when you went to the skate park, you had no skate friends.
Not really, no.
Just
It was
him.
just him, yeah. And then
Right, because he would cramp your style if you had like your age skate friends, right?
yeah, but I couldn't really do anything more than just like
Carve.
Burt carves or anything, you know.
But the
Like,
cool thing
I've
is
never
that
dropped,
I would send him into bowls.
yeah.
I'd be like, try that one,
But I
because I didn't want to try it.
Right.
And then I'll never forget the brown tile bowl, which I end up that was my spot at Oasis. It was like where I learned a lot of my sort of formative moves.
Yeah.
I sent him into it. I'm like, go try that one. And then he went down and carved around it. And I'll never forget, it was super windy. All the stuff was flying up and it's got vert. And you carved around, you came out, you're like, don't do that one.
And did that inspire you to do that one? Or at the
No.
time you were like,
That was
duly
it. He
noticed?
was
before he
the
got-
judge. Yeah.
So when did you see him? You go away for a week, you come back, and then all of a sudden you're like, because I was surprised from doing this podcast. I always thought when I saw him my first time in Australia that he was the lucky one, where it was like when he touched the skateboard, everything just happened. No. And then he told me about all the work and that he was not naturally gifted. And I was like, son of a bitch. Like, I can relate to that because I felt like I was the most uncoordinated skateboarder that had ever touched one. When did you see, because when you go away from somebody, you don't see him every day, you see a change. Like, when did you see a shift and how old?
It wasn't so much that I saw how good he was getting. The first thing I noticed was just what crazy, stubborn determination he had.
Right.
That was the thing that stood out.
Can
Like,
you
I
give us
remember
a
trying to
story?
pick you up one time.
Okay.
I think this was when I was home from college, or maybe I was in North County.
Probably.
Anyway, I was visiting mom and dad. They lived 10 or 15 minutes from Oasis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And dad sent me to go pick you up because we were going to have dinner. And I think it was the first time you ever made a front side rock and roll on that little quarter pipe at Oasis.
Oh, at the end of the snake run.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I remember that.
And I'm like, Tony, come on, like we got to go, Dad. And you were close, and you were pissed because you kept missing, which you've probably seen once or twice.
Yeah, a little bit.
And,
We've talked about that extensively. Thank you very much.
and anyway,
no, I'm
he
saying
was just
thank
like,
to him.
Okay.
like literally, how old do you think you were? 11?
10 or 11. Yeah.
And crying, like I remember just crying, and
Yeah.
then he made one, and it was like this just calm came over him and the world. Like,
Yeah. Wait, you cried because you couldn't make it?
Probably. Yeah.
What do you mean probably? Own it, dude. You did cry.
I mean,
Say
I
yes.
cried on much less than that back then.
No, I'm just-
yeah, for sure.
No, because I get worried. Like, my son is younger, and when he's trying boxing stuff and he can't get it, he gets like really upset, and I get worried because I'm like, okay, man, it's not life or death, you know what I mean? Like you'll get it, you know. But I'm because I hit my head so much, I can't remember if I got that upset about stuff when I was his age. But it freaks me out a little bit, and to know that you got that upset to not make a frontside rock makes me feel way calmer about his journey because it just means he really cares, right?
God, you know what just occurred to me was you were really good at math as a student, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that differentiates math from so many other subjects is it's A or B. It's yes or no. You either get it right or you don't.
Yes.
Right. So you work for hours on a problem, and here's the answer. Is it correct? Yes. Oh, I did it. Unlike what I do writing, where it's never finished. It could always be better. And but that's kind of what it's like when you learn a trick. Like once you learn it,
It's the equation. Yeah, for sure.
you got it. Like
Yeah.
I did it. Now I can do that.
Yeah. Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
Until
right?
tricks got so technical, it's like, I just want one in my life.
Right. Again, but there it is. You did.
Yeah,
It.
you did. You got the equation once.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
did the front
exactly.
side for 20 minutes.
You're,
I get
you're
it.
the Oppenheimer of vert skating.
Wait.
So when you made that frontside rock, did you pretty much have it down after that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I started learning on bigger stuff. And Steve actually shot, I don't know if you remember this, he shot photos of me the first time I ever got above the lip doing a backside air.
Do you have those?
Yeah.
Yeah, a really cool. But I had this. I got a really good camera as a gift.
Like a backside kick turn or?
No, backside air.
An
My
aerial.
first backside air above the coping.
Oh, okay.
He was there to shoot it in that bowl that I sent him into probably like a year prior.
And I shot
to
it
that.
from the bowl, from
Yeah.
like down below.
Yeah.
It's a cool shot.
And
What kind of bulb is that?
Oh my! It's Dave Andrecht. I don't have it here. Dave Andrecht.
Wait, is that the place where Dave Andrew only the channel, or where he invented the method air? Is that the bowl?
That's the bowl, but that's not. Yeah, he did jump that one. Yeah.
He did a big. He aired that whole gap, right?
Yeah.
He
Not
was-
in the bowl I'm riding. The bowl I
Okay.
was riding was the brown tile. That's the blue tile. So there was. I rode the other one because everyone else rode the one with the gap,
Why did everybody ride that?
because that was just the better bowl. And it was
Why were you in the jank one? Because you get more rides.
yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up, yeah. And also it had this weird. So it was a teardrop, right? But then as the walls would come in, they would go mellow, and then they went to flat.
Ew.
So you could
What is
choose.
the point of that?
It was awesome for me because I could choose how far I want to roll in.
Oh.
No one did. Like you did axle drops kind of, but everyone mostly just rolled in.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I could go like one more coping block and roll in until I finally got
wow.
to vert. So
That's
for
why
me,
you-
it was my training ground.
All right, so that's why you can roll into pools so easily because you had like a starter kit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like mini ramps in the 90s where there was, like when I came to America, there was mini ramps that went doot, 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 doot. And I'm like, you can do blunder fakie on 2 foot,
Learn
3
here,
foot,
learn
4
here.
foot,
Yeah,
5
yeah,
foot
yeah.
until you get to vert.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but the wall was, the flats came up too. So the wall was kind of hard to ride as a wall.
Oh, okay.
But you could work your way up to dropping in.
They don't make stuff like that anymore, right? Like
No, I really want to remake that bowl.
Do you think you would have as much fun as
No, but I think it's cool.
Do you think that you would ride it more than one time?
I don't know.
Like you think you'd go, cool, we made it. And you'd
No,
be like,
you know what
okay,
I'd do?
I gotta
would
go.
make it. I'd send Steve down it.
Yeah, that'd be
Do you skate still?
no.
When was the last time you
You
rolled
could.
on a skateboard?
Oh, 6 months ago, I have a longboard.
Right.
I
You
goof
can
around
skate
on,
because
but-
you can surf.
Yeah, the problem is I push Mongo and I'm embarrassed to go out in public.
You should be. The hell is that?
Yeah,
You're
but
Tony
at your
Hawk's
age,
brother.
you get a pass. I mean, anyone,
You've
even
told
our
me
age
that-
gets a
you
pass.
told me that, but I will wear that as like Tony Hawk gives
Yeah.
me a pass for pushing Mongo.
He should really be standing there because the badge, I'll be like, shit,
But
right?
also-
Anybody could have wrote that.
But there is something to be said for when you see older people, but also surfers near the beach,
Yeah.
pushing. You're like, that's a surfer.
oh, yeah.
That's how it is. Like in terms of
Yeah.
our view of it.
You or Bill Danforth, no worries.
Yeah.
Mongo away. Yeah.
But he still rides heavy surf. I mean, he lives
Yeah.
near Mavericks.
I live near Mavericks.
Yeah,
I
you don't surf Mavericks,
but
though.
Yeah, but you surf. I mean, I went surfing with you once up there, and it was. I'm not the most.
You can surf.
I can surf, but I'm not the most confident out there, especially
Yeah.
in big waves.
Yeah.
And there were some closeout sets where I was like, I don't feel comfortable here.
And he
just
was in
like,
it.
Of course, he's in it
All right.
all day.
I don't understand how much you would go surfing if it's cold.
Well, you know what? Actually, wetsuits are really good now. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
the thing.
I was surfing with
sorry.
you in Texas and it was freezing.
Okay, well, that's a whole different thing. Yeah, that was in the 40s. And
Yeah, but you surf in
Alaska.
Alaska.
when I surf in Alaska, the water usually is in the upper 40s to low 50s, and the air is about the same. So
It's a cold plunge.
I know. He
Yeah.
was trying to talk me into going on the trip. I was like, that doesn't sound comfortable.
You get to it's crazy because you're older. When you get to a certain age, it's like I want to do stuff. I want to be a thrill seeker. But if it's going to be cold out, I'm like, I mean, I like blankets. You know what I mean? Like I
you
like it.
snowboard.
Yeah, but if it's cold when it's snowboarding, I don't want to go. Like if I'm there, I'm like, oh god, okay, I'll go. But if it's like real windy and bad weather, would I rather have a hot cocoa and just chill for the day? Hell yeah. But it's like, man, let's hit the rails, and I'd be like, it's blizzarding. Like, no, but if it's sunny, hell yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace.
Boom.
It's the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your terms. Squarespace can help you with email campaigns. Make outreach automatic with email marketing tools that engage your community, drive sales, and simplify audience management. Introduce your brand or business to unlimited new subscribers with flexible email templates, then create custom segments to send targeted campaigns. Built-in analytics measure the impact of every email sent.
Measure your end-to-end online performance with powerful website and seller analytics. Get insight on top traffic sources, understand your reach is growing, track sale metrics, and learn where to focus new engagement. It's all the data you need to scale your brand or business. Fully integrated and clearly displayed.
And Fluid Engine. With Fluid Engine, the next generation website editor from Squarespace. It's never been easier for anyone to unlock unbreakable creativity. Choose your website starting point and customize every design detail with reimagined drag and drop technology for desktop or mobile. Stretch your imagination online with Fluid Engine included in any Squarespace site. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/hawk, that's Hawk, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Like even surfing, sunny surf, woo, cold surf. Like when we surfed that day, you gave me the gloves. It changed my whole perspective of that day because there was just a time there where my hands felt it like the cold. When I get in the cold plunge, the worst thing is my hands.
Yeah.
Like I'll do 1 minute of hands and then I'm like, nah. And I'll just do the rest of my body and my hands because they sting. And then when you were like, yeah, man, try these on. I'm done. And I put them on. I was like, oh, this is so much easier to do. But you were saying that is not as cold as what is
Alaska.
it? Alaska. Like
But
there's
you
ice
just-
in the water, right?
It's like when people go out backcountry snowboarding or anything like that. You just gear up for it, you know. So I've been way colder surfing in swim trunks in Hawaii when the sun's setting, and it's like 70 degrees out and the wind's blowing, because your core temperature drops. But when you got a wetsuit on,
Okay.
you know you can surf in 33-degree water for.
You should go on the next Alaska trip with him.
I like that face. That's a cool face. Do
You
that
know what?
again.
The skipper will throw.
I've
you.
never
Try that
wanted.
one more time.
I've never wanted to punch your face more than right then.
Dude,
that face was so cold.
The skipper will make you walk the plank because you'll be whining so much like a bitch about the
I'm not gonna argue. I hate being cold, but it's the initial get in, right? Like once you get in and the wetsuit warms it up, then you're good. But the first bit,
Yeah, but even that, no, that's not true. So in a wetsuit, you're just never cold. Like when I surf in Alaska, this boat we're on has this heated room for the wetsuit. So you put the wetsuit on there, and you're putting on like a 5 mil wetsuit, 6 mil wetsuit, with thick gloves. By the time you get out of that room in this wetsuit, which is like 80 degrees, you want to get cold.
okay.
So you get out and you jump in the water, and the water doesn't really seep in except just a little bit. And
How
when
long
it
can you
does
stay in
seep
the water?
Your body warms it up. So
How long can you stay in the water?
I
long
don't
as
get
you
out of the
want?
water because I'm tired. Yeah, unless the wind's really blowing, you get cold.
Is the sharks go, or is it too cold for sharks?
No, up in Alaska there are no sharks. There are some sharks. They're salmon sharks, but they don't go after
They don't
humans.
mess
The
with
ones you
people.
got to worry about are like where I live. There's white sharks which eat only marine mammals. The adults eat only seals and sea lions. And
Right, so I'm not going surfing with you and Mavericks. I don't want to go anywhere near that, but I am interested in going to like freezing waters and surfing with stuff because I want to live my life, and that's so far
the
away
thing.
from anything I'll ever do.
That's the thing about Alaska is that it's like the skateboarding equivalent, I guess, would be finding like the perfect bowl or ramp or street spot with nobody there.
Yeah,
There's nobody there.
So it's a good
it's
wave.
Alaska.
and no one's there.
Yeah.
Just NBDs all day.
NBDs all day long.
Yeah.
This boat that I go on called the Milo, shout out to Mike McKone, the skipper, has been running surf charters up there for over 10 years now, 15 years. And they've discovered over 150 spots that no one had ever surfed before.
So just mad waves.
Yeah, and it's not giant either because it's the storms up there in the Gulf of Alaska. They move down toward the west coast. That's why Mavericks get so big because those storms move towards us. They're getting the waves that's kind of spin off on the backsides for the most part.
The reef is in front of you still, though, right?
A lot of it's sand bottom, beach break.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I love
Wasn't
sand
didn't you go? I forget. You guys were waiting for icebergs to fall
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
to catch the wave off the splash. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, but that's real cold.
But that was cool. But we were on stand-up paddleboard.
Did you say that's cold?
That
To
was
you
cold,
it was
yeah.
cold?
Yeah.
Right.
I've also surfed Antarctica. I did that in 2000.
Why would you do that?
Because we were the
It's
first.
colder.
It was because it was just colder. Yes, it's like
How long does it take to get to Antarctica?
So you fly all the way to Ushuaia, which is the southernmost city in South America, and then you go across the Drake's Passage, which is, in our case, about 2.5, 3 day sail.
Wait, you're in a sailboat?
A sailboat with a motor. We actually motored most of the time.
What do you do on the sailboat?
So that's how you find the waves. You can't. There's no other way to get to them. Like you can't land a plane and.
Yeah, you
hike
didn't
to
answer the question. What do you do on a sailboat? Eat?
I don't understand what you mean. You sail.
Yeah, but you just sit there, right? Like,
Yeah,
what do you
he's
do?
thinking of the boredom factor.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
That was a
can I
long
do?
time ago too. So
Yeah.
cell phones were still all kind of new at the time. So
Well,
you were
Yeah. There are no cell phones.
off
down
the
there.
grid. I mean,
Yeah.
you were off the grid.
Totally
so
off the grid. Well, I was down there kind of blogging for this website, so I had satellite phones and I could uplink, but I wasn't socializing.
But
you
now
you go down with people you like.
Could I TikTok?
There, you know what? There's a no TikTok rule in all of Antarctica.
What
even
about
now.
those goggles where you can like watch NBA games and stuff?
No.
No, I can't wear that.
Yeah,
right.
no.
So I'm gonna get real hardcore. I'm gonna get back to the roots of like who I was supposed to be,
Exactly.
like a human being,
Right.
Without any,
distractions.
robots inside my mind, so to speak.
Yeah. We played.
That's one way of putting it.
And then freezing my balls off. But
Yeah.
Think about Steve though.
That was cool.
So what Steve was always a super good writer, right? When I was growing up and would help me just with my papers and stuff like that. But it was always like, oh, he's a super good writer, and then he worked in a newspaper. And then when the job of editor of Surfer came available, it was pretty amazing that you got that job. I mean, I know you had everything it took, but it was just like,
Yeah, it was a lot
he
of
is
luck.
the guy, like he's the guy who's the best writer and lifelong passionate surfer. Like, I can't believe that this job
Came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was freelancing for a couple of the surf mags, Surfer and Surfing, and I was working for a newspaper in Orange County, which is where both of the surf mags are based in Orange County, or were. They're both dead now. They're all dead now, except for one. When I got the job, they came to me through a headhunter, and it was a headhunter who I had done a favor for and gotten you to replace the guy's son's skateboard when his son's skateboard got ripped off. Like
Really?
3 years before.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was crazy, the coincidence there. But I remember when I got the job, I called up. I didn't tell anybody that I was in the running for it. I called a couple of my best friends from Santa Barbara and said, "Dude, you're not going to believe it. Like, I just got the dream job." And literally, my one friend said, "What? Like editor of Surfer magazine or something?" And
Right.
yeah, that's exactly.
That's so cool.
Because it was the first surf mag. It was the first action sports mag. Started in 1960.
Yeah.
It called itself kind of pretentiously the Bible of the sport.
yeah. So does that mean you're traveling the world?
I did travel some, but I was so busy in the office that I like sent people places, but I got to go to some pretty cool places on Surfer's Time. Yeah.
Do you like traveling or do you like
Mm-hmm.
staying home?
As I get older, I'm more and more I like staying home for
Right.
sure. Yeah. But there was a time when I've only traveled, like I've been to Europe, but only on the coast.
Just for surf shows.
Just for surf trips. Yeah. I've been to Indonesia, but only on the coast. I mean,
When I went to Australia the first time, Steve pitched it to, was it Transworld? Mm-hmm.
Pitched you-
TWS.
Wait,
he
pitched-
pitched to TWS like, hey, Tony's going to Australia for the first time with a couple, Bones Brigade.
Yeah.
I'll go and write about it for you guys if you send me.
That's a
And
good idea.
then he parlayed that with, if we go, you and I have to go to New Zealand and go surf.
Right. Wait, New Zealand has better surf than Australia?
not necessarily, but I think less crowded surf. Like,
So we
and the
went.
good news is it's
You really
colder.
like the whole surfing with nobody around thing, huh?
Yeah. That's
So we went. Did the Australian tour, and then
Hey man, I just skated by myself. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It sucked, but I get it. I hate skateboarding.
But watch what you wish for, because then he had to spend a week with me in an RV.
That was a memorable trip. We had a gas on that trip.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
But it
he's
was
not
cool,
bad
like
hanging out.
on kind of on TWS's dime,
Kind of, yeah.
and on Powell's dime.
Yeah, because
We got a surf trip
Right.
to New Zealand for a week.
Well
It was
played,
pretty
boys.
we
sick.
rented a caravan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
That was cool.
So you guys have always liked hanging out with each other.
We actually do. Yeah. Like yesterday, I was with him when he drove up to LA to record your podcast with someone. Can I say who?
Naja, yeah.
With Naja. And fuck, we were stuck in traffic for 6 hours probably total.
Oh, yeah.
3 hours up, 3 hours back.
I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday it was just pouring the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
I don't know if you know it, but he's pretty good company.
Yeah, I like him
He's
too.
a good guy to hang with.
I'm trying to think of the day that he annoyed me.
The one day?
If you did, I don't think you've
the
ever.
day.
I don't
I
think.
thought it was like this monumental.
No, I don't think there's ever been a time where I was like, "Oh, shut up, Tony Hawk."
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever thought that ever.
Except when I'm trying to get you to go on his Alaska trip.
I'm seriously contemplating
Please do
it.
down, yeah.
Not because of you though, because
What you'll appreciate this. When he did plan that trip, he talked to a bunch of our kids about it, including his kids.
The Alaska
Yeah.
trip.
About the Alaska trip, like, hey, I'm gonna go to Alaska, and
Yeah.
my kids they're agreeable to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when the time comes, they'll be like, oh, I think I'm gonna do, and
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, I talked to Keegan, he's into it. And I talked to Riley. I was like, sure, they're
Good
into
luck.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and Kathy both like, no fucking
Yeah,
way.
and I was
Good
like,
luck.
but they have to secure their spot. They have to pay ahead of time.
yeah.
They're not committing to something 6 months from now.
No.
Right.
They won't even commit to dinner tomorrow.
Do you understand them well?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have the same type of experiences. Where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, Dad, I think I'm going to do this instead
No,
of the
he-
thing that we planned forever ago.
A week ago, he canceled on his birthday.
Yeah.
dinner.
That,
And I'm
exactly.
like, it's your birthday. Like
Yeah.
I don't see. Yeah, but I'm a bit tired from snowboarding. I was like, okay, so Tuesday. Yeah, okay, that's definitely Tuesday. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
But I appreciated your passion in trying to make it work.
Yeah.
And it was more and more of a curiosity, like, is he really going to make this work? Like, is he going to get those guys?
Did anybody go?
I think I think Keegan will go.
You do?
I do. I
Yeah,
talked to him
he
about
likes
it.
the adventure. But that is the other thing. Like, Keegan is like, well, if something else comes up.
Yeah. But he's spent some time surfing in Oregon, so he's not that
Yeah.
intimidated
I mean,
by
he's
the cold.
living in Boulder, and he's used to the cold by now, for sure.
To Keegan, if you're listening, Alaska, the Milo.
So how long in total are you gone when you go to Alaska?
Last time I went, I was on the boat for 12 days. But that was an interesting trip because they went, I was part of this, I was one leg of a 5-leg journey that went from Dutch Harbor, which is where all that wild crabbing show is shot. What's it called? The America's Deadliest Catch.
Oh, Denver's
Yeah.
catch, yeah.
So that it's all in the Bering Sea, and the boat went from the beginning of the Aleutians to the very last island in the Aleutians, like 600 miles, 300 miles from Russia, and then back over 2.5 months. And I did 12 days of that. Yeah.
Can you do a shorter amount of time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they do little runs out of the boat's based in Homer. You can go out for 3 days. Steve-O's been on the boat.
Oh, really?
He did a whole show on it. Yeah. So he jumped into the a bay filled with ice off the boat naked. Yeah.
that's on brand.
You got to know what you're good at, you know?
Yeah.
With your
What?
strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's good at,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Like,
his strength.
Yeah.
I don't think his penis has recovered. Actually, it's still
I don't think it.
retreat.
I don't think he had to worry about it in the first place. Some people can let it freeze and it don't make a difference. This podcast is brought to you by Outerknown. Did you know that Kelly Slater made it up and it's like from recycling stuff? I didn't know that until I got sponsored by it, but they gave me mad boxes of stuff. And I wear it all the time. They got sweet t-shirts. They got ones with a little pocket in and stuff. But they fit good. They last long. And then they got these fleecy jackets and stuff. And they're all comfortable. They got blanket shirts. Apex trunks. Wait, they're tested by Kelly Slater? Sick. CEA jeans. I got those. They're really good too. Everything they make is really good. I don't know how Kelly Slater recycled it, but it's very impressive. Go to outerknown.com today and enter the code WOLF at checkout, and you'll get 25% off your full price order. That's outerknown.com, outerknown.com, And remember to use the code WOLF at checkout for 25% off. Check them out today. outerknown.com. And don't forget, promo code WOLF for 25% off. I've never had 12 days off. Like
I mean, you're planning way ahead.
Since I had a job at Sirius, I've never had 12. Like 12, you can't have 12. I remember asking for 12, and they were like, "No, you can have 10." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll have 10."
10 that you've accumulated over the course of a year and a half.
Yeah.
And even that felt like there was a time there because I was so consistent with being there and 5 days a week that the amount of hate that I got from the fans for being away for 10 days. Like, I see how you feel about your fans.
I was going to say, this podcast keeps us from going anywhere for more than 10 days.
Right. I told to Brianna about going because Ari Shafir was on, and Ari was always somebody that, like, I didn't know him that well, but, like, I knew of these times where he would just take his passport and just take off. And I was like, I'm like, you're a stand-up comedian. Like, you have things to do, places to be. He's like, well, I don't care. Like, see you later. Fuck you guys. I'm like, and I could tell by the way he said it was so confident. I was like, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Brianna about it the other day. She's like, you could go. I was like, what are you talking about? How can I go? I've got 5 dogs and a cat and a dragon and 2 kids and 2 podcasts and 3 live shows and I cannot.
Wow.
She's like, you could just do it. I'm like, yeah, I could just be a dick.
Steve's retired, so he can do whatever he wants.
Retired from the 9 to 5 world, but I'm still working.
You still work though.
Yeah, but basically my day's schedule kind of revolve around the surf. So.
Wait.
Yeah.
Your day is scheduled around when you go surfing?
Well, so like it really kind of depends on. Every morning I get up and look at the wind and if it's going to be good anywhere, because now I can go for a couple hours. I don't have to.
What's the furthest you'll drive when you wake up in the morning when you see?
Oh yeah, not that far anymore. Half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
But it seems like there's always surf near your area.
There's always surf, but a lot of times it's too big or there's too much wind or the.
Do you ever get a plane to go surf?
Not in California, but I did my first trip to Alaska. We hired a bush plane and landed on the beach.
A bush plane
with the skis?
No, wheels.
Oh, really?
It was crazy. The guy.
Oh, wow.
We were in Yakutat and we wanted to scout this.
You were in Yakutat?
Yeah, do you know that Yakutat?
Do I look like I know where Yakutat is? The hell? Yakutat is a place? Man, if you're in Yakutat, you suck balls. You better be surfing. Is that where the surf is?
That's the entry point.
That's the entry. Yakutat.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yakutat.
Yakutat.
Yeah.
Yakutat sounds cooler. Is there yaks there?
Do you want to hear the story, or do you want to just talk about the word?
I'm kind of. Go ahead.
You wonder
Steve.
where I got my sarcasm.
Yeah, no. All right, go on.
Now I've completely forgotten.
You're talking about Yakutat.
We're talking about the plane, but
yeah. So anyway, we wanted to go check to see if there's any surf. We thought there might be a spot like kind of across this bay, called Icy Bay, and we're flying around. We got our boards in the back of the plane, and we drove by this river mouth. It was a glacial river mouth, so the water was all gray and silty, and there was this sandbar with this just roping little left, like shoulder high, perfect little beach break sandbar. And we did a couple of turns over it, and the beach was wide, so the pilot came down and did a touch and go where he put the wheels on the sand and then lifted off and then circled back around and came over those and tilted the plane so he looked to see how far the wheels had gone into the sand to see if it was hard enough to land. And then came around and brought us down and just motored right up to this surf spot.
that's extreme.
It was insane.
Yeah. That's kind of into that.
That's living.
That's thrill seeking.
That's
right
pretty
there.
amazing.
I kind of like that guy.
Yeah.
And then it's cold, right, in the water?
Yeah.
Right.
But again, we had these things called wetsuits.
Yep.
They keep you warm.
I hear what you're throwing down.
But so I'm going to take through the timeline of Steve's careers. After Surfer, you moved to NorCal because of .com stuff.
Yeah, for surfline.com.
Surfline, yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of money at that time, the big editorial staff, and they were doing a skateboard site that Sean Mortimer was.
That's right, yeah.
And snowboard site and
what was snowboard site? CrossRocket.
CrossRocket.com.
CrossRocket.com. Yeah. That's a sick name.
And Monster Skate. Yeah,
but yeah,
but the .com crash happened right at the beginning of all that. Like CrossRocket never actually launched, and we had
really?
tons of content. Yeah, it was a bummer. Yes, he did that for a few years. At one point, I had like 35 people working under me there. And then it went for like 15 and then 5 and then 2. And me and another dude.
And then you did the foundation.
Then, launched the Tony Hawk Foundation.
We launched the foundation. It was we were the only employees at one point
skate park
of the Tony Hawk Foundation. Yeah.
Whose idea was it?
Tony's and Pat's, really.
Mm-hmm.
Our sister Pat, who was his manager for a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember the real genesis was when you first skated the Carlsbad Park, right? Wasn't that it? Or
No, I skated a park outside of Chicago that was designed like the Carlsbad Park, but worse.
Yes. This is a great story.
And I could tell it was the same designer, like the same builder. And I was just saying, and it was just, I mean, there would be like a set of stairs into a wall, and every ledge was this high, so you couldn't even clear your wheels on it if you were trying to lip slide or board slide it. It was terrible. Yeah. There was a snake run that was a winding sidewalk with little berms, like just little berms that you would see in a sand dune or something.
And it was made for skateboarding.
That was the snake run.
The thing.
The guy
like basically it was a lump that came out that's supposed to be the bank that you ride.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even high enough to really get on it.
Yeah.
And then these every bank was like this, like didn't, but no distance. So it was just everything sucked.
Why did people that sucked get the job of building skate parks?
Because the city said we want to build a skate park. They're trying to be cool, proactive, new, which I respect. But then they put it out to bid for anyone that like who built a skate park,
and they're sort of obligated to take the lowest bid.
Yeah. So this guy that makes this company that makes sidewalks said we can make a skate park.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
And tell them the story how when you got there, that you said this skate park's not very good, and they said that's what all the skaters told us.
Yeah.
And then they told the skaters, but wait till Tony Hawk gets here, he'll show you how.
That is literally what happened.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I was like, someone's got to do something about this because this is going to keep happening.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the catalyst to start the foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But more also to give funding to more underserved areas.
Yeah.
Because this place was pretty affluent. Like this is a pretty wealthy suburb outside Chicago.
Right.
I just felt bad for the kids because they obviously were seeing it being built and they were like, this is lame. Like, yeah, right.
Well, that, and even if you don't skate, if you build a skate park that is super rideable and fun, like you're more inclined to stay and like become possessed to skate. Yeah.
Well, but this city thought they were alleviating all the problems of kids skating public property and the mall and the
what they didn't realize is,
and then they build this park that's worse than any local skate spot.
Right. There was probably like a bank that was down the road that was 1,000 times
way
better
more fun.
And it wasn't made for it. I know.
Yeah. But that was it. And then Steve and we had the idea for the foundation, and then I did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity Sports Edition, and Steve was my lifeline to call.
You're smarter than Tony, right?
No, but definitely not smarter, but more well-read.
Yeah. So you don't. Well, how come?
In our eyes, that's smarter.
He's smarter than you for sure. I can tell by talking to him. Believe it or not, I can tell smart people. No. But you don't like being cool. Like you're not a show off at all, huh?
I don't know how to answer that because part of me thinks, I'm cool. I want to be cool. My whole life, I wanted to be cool. I was a surfer growing up.
Were you competitive ever?
Cool. As a surfer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I competed in high school and in college. Yeah, but never like professionally.
Are you proud of yourself that you're a better surfer than him?
Oh my God,
sure.
Feels good, right?
I mean, we're 40 plus years on, and I still don't hear the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh, he wrote that I was a wuss in the water in Surfer Magazine in an editorial.
Good.
Well, Yeah, and
I had no
it's
idea.
so funny because you mentioned that recently, and I never realized how badly that stung until you talked about it just like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
But so here's why I wrote it. Before I became
Because
an
he
editor
is.
of Surfer,
He's such a bitch in the water, dude.
before and actually the problem is now that we're older, when we go to like Kelly's wave pool, once he's on his feet, he's actually, I think, better than me. He can do airs and stuff, but if we go out in the wild,
Right.
where you have to, like,
That's real
catch a wave.
I get full panic mode.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if the wave closes out, I mean, we can talk about Tavarua too. I got held down in Tavarua. I got freaked out.
Yeah.
You had to talk me off the ledge.
Yeah, I've been there and I've been terrified.
Yeah.
I'm scared of real waves. That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Because Kelly's, I've been there and I was like, people, man, you gotta watch this concrete. And I was like, shut up. Like,
So-
I will not be intimidated by that wave. But at a real wave, it's when it starts to arc up and then all the little bumpy rock things come out in front of me. I'm like, what is that? What is this bullshit? Like, I don't want to be part of that. Such a terrible. It's like, to me, it's like doing a backseat and all of a sudden, like, just daggers come out of the flat water, and I'm like, wait, what?
But I've said that many times when they're like, how could you be scared of surfing big waves or heavy waves when you ride 15, 20-foot ramps? I'm like, because the ramp is not going to come after me after I fall.
Yeah, like after
and
you
hold me
slam-
underwater.
Yeah. Dude, imagine slamming and then somebody puts your head in a toilet bowl and holds it in there.
That's
And
it.
no matter
That's
what
it.
you do, it doesn't let you take your head out. Like, that's not cool, man.
Just got to relax. Eventually, they go by.
Whatever. That is not what happens, man.
No.
Tavarua got me.
That's the key.
Like, before I surfed the bigger set, I was out there in 3-foot waves, and a set came in and held me down for 3 waves. And the third one, when I came up, I was ready to panic. Like, when I came out, I was like, and I'm like, if another wave hit me now, I'm gonna start freaking out, because I remember, like, when I got to the top and I was like, I don't have any more. Like, I needed the air right when my lips got to the surface, or I was gonna start drowning.
Yeah.
And I was like, note to self, don't be in here again.
What's been the heaviest waves that you're like hold down for you?
Not Mavericks. I've surfed Mavericks a few times, but I've never gotten beat there. So I've lucked out. And I surfed on the really, really small days. And I sit way off to the side.
What's really small?
He got a photo in surfing Mavericks.
What's real
Yeah,
small?
when I was editor,
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I put in.
Yeah.
Say, here I am
So?
surfing Mavericks. Yeah.
But what's small?
But
to
that
you?
was the
He's
context.
getting
that
hit
was
in
the
the head by
context.
the lip.
That was the context of why I called you a wuss that time, because I had written for the mags, and I actually did a trip to Costa Rica with a buddy, and it was just me and a couple other guys, and my friend got a bunch of photos, and I wrote an article about it. We sold it to Surfer. It was the first thing I ever had published in a surf mag, and we didn't know what photos they were going to use. It was like 6 pages, and down at Pavones, and the article comes out. I ran to a surf shop and I got it, and I got to that article, and there was not a photo of me, and I was so pissed. And then
You had submitted photos of you, obviously.
he did, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, there was an article on the surf skate hybrid thing, and there was a photo of you
Oh, in Surfer.
in Surfer, and I grew up a surfer, and I'm the surfer.
You're way better than Tony. We've already established that. Yeah.
So that was the thing that pissed me off. Is that when I became editor, I finally ran a photo of myself on a pretty good wave that I was wiping out on, and said it should have been me, and it said it was my brother. And let me just say, I love my brother to death. He's the greatest skateboarder in the world, but he's kind of a puss in the water. So that's
Oh, well, then that, totally justified.
so, but of course, in his mind, Tony called me a pussy. Like that's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's
That
trying
did
to-
happen.
It's
Close.
Yeah.
Close enough.
It's pretty funny.
You
I
love
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the most scared I've ever been was probably at a spot called Scott Creek, which is between Half Moon Bay and Santa Cruz. It's a kind of a poor man's sunset beach. It's a big wave, but not nearly anything like Mavericks. And I was out there on a pretty big day, and a closeout set came, which is really rare there, which means it was really big. And the third wave held me down so long that I had to climb my leash to go back to the surface because my board was like tombstoning.
Tombstoning, yeah. That's my board was tombstoning from one wave in Tavarua, and I was panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
He's
it
on the
held.
third
I came up between every wave, but by the time I was the third one, came up in the third one. If there had been a fourth one, I might have been in trouble. But so that's the worst.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen you out there, and you. I think what I've noticed and what I think is amazing is when you're out surfing, especially when we're out surfing, I see you just take off to go over here. I'm like, what the fuck is he going? And then some wave materializes from the great distance.
You can read the waves out back, right?
Yeah, and that's from 50 years of doing it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just like, there were no waves there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one showed up when Steve paddled over to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the opposite ability. I don't even know where the wave is at Kelly's wave. He put me in it the first time. He's like, stand here. I'm like, oh, okay. Point that way. I'm like, okay. Paddle now, if you say so. Like, I feel like if I wasn't going to get up without him.
Yeah.
No, that was Texas, right? Yeah, it was Texas.
That's right. That was Texas.
Because you had to take off on a different angle than a normal wave.
He and I got to go to Kelly's in the early days.
That was a star-studded show. You, Sean White, Kelly.
Oh,
the three
Eddie Vedder.
goats, and,
No way.
Yeah.
Eddie Vedder.
That's hilarious.
And I remember Steve taking off on the first wave and getting up. I was just like, damn it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's the
pressure.
most fun I've had surfing. Like because I surfed Tavarua. That was the best I've ever done, but I was in full panic the whole time. I did not have 1 second when I was like, yeah. I was just like, I'm dead. And I was like, I'm not dead. And then another wave came for me to paddle over, and I was like, I'm dead. And I didn't die. And I was like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's
like
what I
this,
did.
you guys are
after my whole
crazy.
after my tombstone, I went to the boat.
Yeah.
And then he paddled over to the boat, and he's like, you got to get back out there.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to get back out there.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you don't get back out there, you won't want to surf anything significant ever again.
Yeah.
And he's like, just don't catch the first wave of the set. That's what you did, which was true.
Right.
I think I think the maddest I've ever seen you at me actually was at Tavarua when we paddled out to restaurants, which is
I wasn't mad. I was
shallow.
I was in pain.
and,
Oh, wow.
And you're not supposed to surf restaurants on low tide, but
Because the reef is out a lot,
the
right?
reef's out of the water, but sometimes on low tide it'll pull away from the reef and nobody's out there, and the owner came up to me and said, it's pretty good out there right now. You guys should think about it.
Yeah.
I said, Tony, come on, let's go out. There's nobody out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm accountable for my choice, though. I went with him. I was like, yeah, let's go. And then as we went, the winds kind of shifted. So there were these bumps when you take off.
Yeah.
And you've seen surfing when people hit a bump on the way down.
Yeah.
And it's just over.
Yeah.
It was over for me on the first wave. And then I got dragged across.
So at Cloud Break, there's this stuff called stag coral, which is that
Yeah, I've
just
been there.
looks like the inside part of the wave is called shish kebabs.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
so
it is the most terrifying.
I remember falling, and then the wave caught me and brought me back up, and I was like, I'm gonna hit some. And then I feel it on my back and on my butt, like it was all on my back.
Yeah.
On my
That's
butt.
right. It was your back and your butt, not your
and
thighs.
just murderous blood
Yeah.
coming down my back. I was like, God, and then I went inside because it's over, right? So I go inside, and then I cleaned up my wounds, and then I start getting this allergic reaction all
from the
around
coral.
my ass and my crotch, sea lice.
Oh yeah.
And because I had hit the reef,
Wait, you had sea lice on your crotch?
yeah, it was all over. Like it was basically this.
I've
Wait,
had a different guy. We don't need to go there. Just as bad.
let's just say it didn't have to be removed because it was already gone, but it was
Wait, what was gone?
the sea lice. Like
Oh,
I mean,
they
it
made you
did
crunch.
its damage and then it got washed out. But what happened was because I hit the reef, I dislodged all the sea lice, and then it just was all around me. And then I got this crazy allergic reaction to it, and so
Yeah.
I just had hives all like wherever my bathing suit was, it was all hives. Oh, and then that's when I was like, "This is the dumbest thing that I've ever
Wait.
done."
Wait, you had
followed Steve out
Wait.
to fucking restaurants.
Wait, I'm sorry. You had like hived
No,
privates?
it was mostly on my backside.
Okay. You had a hived ass.
The most hived ass. Yeah, I took Benadryl.
I think we have a title for this episode.
I took
Most
2
hived
Benadryl
ass.
and You know what happens when you take 2 Benadryl? You're just gone from the earth.
Oh, makes you tired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you like feel like you're in space, and tired.
I've been
but it went away.
there.
It went away.
Not from Benadryl, but
The first question you asked is, have I ever like said, I'm sick of having this famous brother, like been jealous. I remember when the first Bones Brigade video came out, the very first one that he's on the cover of.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been what year? 80?
is that Future Primitive?
No.
3
Bones Brigade video show?
Oh, the Bones Brigade.
Bones
Okay.
Brigade video
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Sorry.
Where you had the final part and first action sports video ever made, that one. That released onto video.
Yep.
And the premiere was at our parents' house.
Yeah.
The safety
In Cardiff,
there.
in the apartment.
Yeah. And everybody was there. It was a contest, right? So everybody. But I was so stoked on it and so proud of it that you and I did, for some reason we did a trip to Santa Barbara. I was going back up to see some old college buddies and a bunch of people I'd worked with at this restaurant there called Sun and Earth, hippie restaurant. And we had a copy of the video, but nobody had a VCR to show it. So I went to a fucking video store and rented a VCR for like $25, which was a lot of money for me back in that day, and gathered all my buddies around to watch my little brother in this video thing because it was just so cool. In my mind, that was just the coolest thing. Like, because nobody in the surf world had seen that. There was no video access to what you guys were doing in parks.
Yeah.
I saw it because I went to so many of your contests.
Right.
But these guys just didn't know.
Right,
And-
but not an edited, put together highlight reel of his stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And
To
you know,
music.
like the finger flip air you do in that was just so mind blowing for the time.
Yeah, we were talking about it. In Australia, there was no magazine of it yet. And there was a guy, I remember a guy in a surf shop telling me there's this kid that does that. And I was like, nah. Because if you hadn't seen it on video or a photo, it didn't make sense when some, Australian freaking water skier is like, yeah, mate, he flicks it with his hand, and then he flips, and then he just grabs it again, puts it on his feet. I'm like, shut up, idiot. That doesn't even make any sense.
You can't explain it.
Right.
People have never
Like,
seen it.
yeah, especially when you're like a 15-year-old water ski guy trying to tell me. I didn't want to hear it. I was like, shut up. But you played the video in front of all your friends. This is before
the eyes were popped out of their heads like dogs.
But this is
balls.
before the premiere of people watching it at your parents'
No,
house.
after that.
Okay.
Right after.
Yeah, after
he
that.
had
Right.
he had a VHS tape, but he had a VHS copy of it.
Yeah.
So you're saying you were a bit jealous that day?
No, that was my way of telling you how proud I was. Like I went out and rented this thing to show people. Like I wasn't jealous at all. I wanted the world to know he was my brother.
Right.
Like that was the thing. I remember I was in a video with my wife, Pam, one of our first dates. We were going to go rent a video to take back to her condo. And there's the Bones Brigade video, and I think Future Primitive was out. Like they were for rent.
Oh, really? At the store?
Yeah, and some kid was picking it up, and I said, honey, come look at that. I said, that's my brother.
Yeah.
That's my brother. And this kid goes, you wish.
I feel like that's happened to you before.
A couple times. Yeah.
But to be fair, whenever I am anywhere in the surf industry or encounter surfers or anyone, all they do is talk about him.
All right.
Like, oh, you're Steve's brother. Yep. Oh man, I did this. Da, 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 da. I'm like, yep.
Not so much anymore.
No, still, absolutely.
There's.
I'm not hanging out with young
never-
surfers, so it
never
doesn't
met.
matter. It's all the older guys.
All the world champs from Kelly on. I've never met him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like I never met John Florence. Well, I met him when he was 12, very, very briefly.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm
but-
still living off Tony Hawk's nuts, so it's been
me
going
too.
pretty well.
Me too.
Yep.
Is that when they're
But can you say you
with the
changed his
allergic
diaper?
reaction, or just when they're normal state?
I think hopefully when they're normal.
Okay.
But it's like when anybody's like, they don't want to give me any respect.
Does anybody ever ask you if you changed his diaper?
No.
But have you?
Not what? I'm not that old.
I know. I'm not saying. I mean recently.
Like a fetish thing?
I don't want to be here anymore. Stop. This
That's what you get.
super
You wanted
weird.
Steve in the house. There you go. This is what you
Nah,
get.
I just want you to call him a pussy. That's really all I came for.
We did that.
That's just the highlight. You want to go surfing someday and like he doesn't want to do something, be like, don't be such a puss. I'm gonna be so pumped. Even though I'm a bigger vag than all of you combined in the water, but still just that dynamic is something I can get
I will say
get
that
behind.
we were supposed to go on this boat trip, surf trip,
The Tuamotus.
to Motus, so
Where's
near
that?
near Tahiti.
Jared was on that trip.
And
That's
no,
warm,
I'm getting,
right?
getting to that. What's
Yeah.
that?
That's warm.
Warm, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Let's go
and
there. You know what I mean? Let's go there.
warm
for 12
and
days.
lots of options for waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not crazy waves, like mellow waves.
Yeah.
And the
Hit me up for that
crew wasn't a crazy. And it was the first time I committed to a trip like that.
Yeah.
And the crew wasn't, they're not like hardcore chargers or whatever. So, 2 weeks before,
Yeah, something like that.
2 weeks before I
Maybe?
broke my pelvis.
Oh.
Loop.
Yeah.
And so gave my spot to Jared, who's right here.
Oh man.
Was that how you got on the trip?
That's how I got on the trip, yeah.
I thought you were going the whole time. Huh.
And I
But
can
these
do
guys
that.
did go out to Chopu. You know what Chopu is?
Yeah.
That massive wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
But I'll let you tell the story.
I didn't surf it like in the way like the pros surf it.
I didn't get
but,
a lot of waves.
but we gave it a
But
sniff.
you got a wave.
We got a sniff.
No.
Did you get a wave in there?
Define a wave.
What do you mean?
This is their spiel.
What is
They
this shit?
So because they made a pact after they paddled out, they didn't get any waves.
We didn't paddle.
But they did.
Oh, I thought you did paddle out.
We-
Oh,
we never got
so
off
it was
the boat.
breaking.
It was breaking, but there was nobody out. It was surfable, but there was nobody out.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
I thought
you
you
didn't-
guys paddled out, and then we're like, let's just say we
was
paddled
so
out.
scared.
You were working with Emilio Estevez.
Oh, I wrote it. I wrote an episode of a. So I got a job with. I got to work on a HBO show called John from Cincinnati, done by David Milch, who
Wrote Deadwood.
wrote Deadwood and did
Legend.
NYPD Blue. A lot of people think he's one of the greatest writers ever in Hollywood. I completely lucked into that through my friend Kem Nunn, who wrote some stuff for me when I was a surfer. He's a novelist who writes about surfing, and we worked side by side in that show. And then on the strength of that, I got an agent in Hollywood, and I started trying to write screenplays and television scripts. And I had some friends who made this show called Numbers. It was on CBS
That's it,
about
Numbers,
a
yeah.
math who solves crimes for the FBI. And I wrote an episode of that had surfing in it and stuff about the math behind waves. And by pure coincidence, Emilio Estevez directed it.
Yeah, and I was so hyped to meet him and
Yeah.
talk about Repo Man.
I knew you were going to say that. Yep.
So Tony came to the set.
Yeah, oh,
and it
yeah.
just happened to be, he came to the set that day when we were shooting in a surf shop that had a skate section. And everybody on the crew ended up buying boards out of the shop so Tony could sign them, just like random
Remember
boards.
that.
And the shop guy said it was like one of his best day of sales ever.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a Young Guns guy more, but
Young Guns?
yeah, when I watch them now, I'm like, wow, I'm really stupid. But
It's not that. It's,
It's
just
still cool.
Repo Man was such a.
yeah, I know.
It's so iconic. It was the first punk movie and
Right.
probably best punk movie. And
All right.
I'm
I mean,
a Breakfast Club
It's so
guy.
crazy that Jared's here because we are. There is discussion about Repo Man 2, and they want me involved.
Like recent.
Yes,
new.
like
Wow.
recent. Yeah, recent.
You should talk to my good friend
communication.
Emilio.
What's that?
You should talk to my good friend Emilio.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's part of it, right?
Oh.
Jared's
Wait.
the one. This is weird. This is.
Wait, you
We
can't.
got a whole script. We got a script of Repo Man 2.
but no
Have you-
Emilio
have you
in
read
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like someone is kind of him. It's hard to explain.
Are there plates of shrimp in it?
It's got the same vibe for sure. It's got the same vibe of dialogue, but it's just a weird. But at some point they were like, "Well, if you want to fund it, we can make it right now."
Oh,
Like,
I see that.
well, that's not my thing.
You swim with sharks, Steve?
No.
Why is that a crazy question?
You mean like in a cage?
Nah, like that lady that swims with tiger sharks and she pats them and stuff.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, no thanks.
Have you paddled near a shark in your surfing?
You know, I've never seen one when I was in the water.
All right.
Seen them from boats, but the thing about where I live is,
Because you said you live where their great whites are.
yeah, it's called the Red Triangle. You know.
Wait, a red triangle is like where great whites are known to be in this area?
It's where they
And you surf there?
yeah,
do you mean,
thousands,
yeah?
thousands and thousands.
Just
of
casually, yeah.
Okay,
Red
so
triangle,
let me put
great
this-
whites all hang out, but whatever.
thousands
surf
of
there.
people surf there every day, and there's maybe one attack a year. So
One a year.
yeah, if that.
Do they
So
usually?
your odds are good.
Yeah.
And they don't.
If you're not- not if you're
and
me.
only like 2 surfers have ever been killed by whites. They get because they don't want to eat you. They're like the best hunters in the sea. They predate. They go back to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And they're super risk averse. So if they come up and hit something that's not their normal food, they swim away.
Yeah.
Which is not true in Australia. Those white pointers down there, for some reason, they keep coming at people. I don't know what the deal is there.
Yeah, we're a different breed, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also,
We don't play.
Australians are just generally tastier.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, for
Right? Maybe sharks like Vegemite
That's probably what it is.
because we
And
all
meat
eat
pies.
Vegemite
And meat
pies.
Or it could
Or,
be
or we're all
they don't
maybe they're alcoholics and they can taste the beer on
right.
us because we're all alcoholics for sure.
But I was on a boat recently in the Farallones, which is the feeding ground for all the sharks up there. Like they tag them, and when they put their little sonar thing in the water, there's always. When I was on the boat one time, there were like 13 sharks within distance of this boat, and the big ones. But the last time I went out there, about a year and a half ago, we were they put this decoy out that looks like a seal, and trying to bring the sharks up, and you could see these you could see a boil, and the guys would say shark up. So you'd run over, and you could see these boils, but the water was crystal clear, but you couldn't see the fucking shark until like it was right under you.
Oh no.
So and these guys had these GoPro cameras on sticks, and they'd put them down, and the footage is it's just water. You can't see a shark, and then the camera goes underwater, and you realize the shark's like 3 feet away, and they're just not interested. So what we all talk about where I live in Half Moon Bay is because there's a couple of seal haul-outs there where sharks are, and people see them, and there've been a couple of hits. The Mavericks, there've been 2 or 3 guys who've gotten bit, and the kind of rule of thumb is that everyone's been sniffed. Like sharks they've come near all of us.
Yeah.
But they're good enough hunters to know that you're not what they
Right.
want to eat. So they swim.
Everyone's been sniffed.
We were on a different trip to Fiji. I don't think you're on that one. I think it was a Nixon trip. And Riley and his buddy were with us. And we had just paddled onto the boat from Cloudbreak. It was a small day. And his friend was coming in. He was last. And we're all just kind of waiting for him. And he's coming in. And then all of a sudden, this fin goes between where he is and the boat. Just
A big one.
big enough. Yeah. And then
Wow.
and we all looked, and he's like, and we go, shark? And then finally it was like, hurry up, get in here. And he just starts scrambling. That was the first time I saw one truly nearby,
Yeah.
obviously. And it was like, that could be dangerous. Maybe you should just get in here.
Yeah.
I surfed this spot, and the scariest I've ever been of sharks, I never saw one. I was at this place in one of the outer islands of Tahiti called Huahine, and there's this break, this really beautiful, perfect right reef called Fiti. It's one of the best shaped waves in all of Tahiti, but it's shallow and it's heavy. And I had a nautical chart, and I was just there on my own, living in like this little hospice thing, and I had a nautical chart that showed that the water between the land and the reef got to 400 feet deep. So you had to paddle across this 400-foot
Yeah.
trench
Sketchy.
to get out there. And I was out there with one other guy, and it was small, like 3 or 4 foot, not that, but shallow. And I made a mistake and went over the falls and landed butt first on the reef and just raked my shorts and my thighs. And I knew I had to paddle back.
Bloodthirsty.
across
Oh,
that.
yeah, leaking blood.
Yeah, leaking blood. And I looked back and I could see it like trailing off.
Oh
the
my
back.
God. It's just a bad movie.
Did you hear the Jaws soundtrack in your head?
Oh, I was so freaked out.
That
So
is so
I told the guy.
terrifying.
I actually told the guy my
Yeah,
most
Pete.
heroic moment ever. I think I said, "Dude, you stay here, because I am just going to paddle. You don't want to be near me when I'm paddling back. Cause,
Yeah, but I don't want to stay out there after you've bled in the water.
well, also the waves are good. He didn't want to go in.
You guys are stupid.
So I
man.
paddled back across, and I stayed on the reef till I got as close as I could to shore. And as I paddled, the water just changed colors, and it got that deep purple.
Dude, how bad are you bleeding?
Ocean.
Yeah.
And I paddled nonstop for like 25 minutes because it was a really long paddle.
Yeah.
And almost kissed the ground when I got to shore.
But you didn't see a shark.
Didn't see a shark. That's the most scary. But the next day, like I was hurting so bad, but I didn't even feel this because my shoulders were so short. So
I swam
from
with
the
sharks, and then after I swam with sharks in Hawaii, like
You did?
where you get off the boat and you hold the rope.
a tiger shark?
Nah, I would have done that, but they were just like crappy. They were like 3-footer pussy sharks for tourists to like dangle off, and they came up pretty close. And I remember looking at them. I'm like, they're like dogs. Like I saw their eyes looking at me, and I'm like, I don't feel threatened by any of these. And then we leave, and I go to like some surf shop, and when I go in there, I think I was getting some flippers or something, and the guy goes, "There's a shark caught in some area where when the tide comes out."
Well, the tide drops. It's caught in Michael Lagoon.
Yeah, it's caught in a lagoon. He's like, there's a white tip caught in the lagoon. And I was like, where? And he's like, right here. And I was like, let me get some goggles and go. And my ex at the time, we both went in there. And there was one guy that was trying to find it. And I'm like, I'm going in there. And I had goggles and flippers on. And I found it. And I was following it around with a GoPro. And my chick was following me. Like, it seemed like...
How big was a shark?
Like 3 or 4 foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not a 7-foot shark, but
Yeah.
it was still one of those ones that looks like a good shark. Like, to me, it looked like
a real shark.
Yeah, like a real one. Like, he had a good face and shit. Like, he had like a proper grill and stuff. And I'm following him around, and I'm thinking it's super cute. And every now and then I would look back at my ex and be like, look at me. Like, I'm swimming with this shark. And then it goes into like a dead end area, and it came back around, and I'd been following it for like 5 minutes, so I was getting closer and closer, feeling safer and safer near it, and then finally it like gets to a dead end and darts back, and it comes swimming towards me, and it was probably like where the camera is to me, and I was like, no, just for a second, because it was all fun, and it was all like, I can't wait to show people that I am in the water with there's no captain, tourist, like guy in charge. This is just dumbass Jason and a shark in the ocean. And then it came back, and I was like, oh no. And then it didn't come at me. It just swam by me. But just for a second, I was like, that's what it would feel like. With the regret, where I was like, fuck. But it looked like to me, I'd rather fight a pit bull. You know what I mean? Like, if it had gone me.
Well, a 3-foot shark, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I would rather fight a pit bull on the ground than this particular shark who he's like, you know what? I'm sick of you following me around, dude. I'm going to maul you. Because he had, water, agile-wise, like how much skill do I have in the water? There's the whole breathing thing. Like, if I go underwater with him. Yeah, he doesn't need it. I do. And then I thought his teeth... They look worse than pit bulls. Like, they're just everywhere, dude. They're like, they come out everywhere. And it's got like some sort of
those
sea creature eyes. You know what I mean? It's like sea creature eyes are way they're way tougher than like land animals. You know what I mean? Because you've just been in the ocean. You've never
like a doll in a horror film or something.
No mummy never cradled you ever. You know what I mean? You've just been straight up surviving solo your whole existence.
Well, they say that with white sharks that they'll find a dead female with the unborn babies in its stomach, and the unborn babies will have the teeth of their other babies that were in the stomach with them in their bellies.
They ate their brothers and sisters.
In the womb.
So gangster. See what I mean? You can't mess with that guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like when we come out, we can't even walk. These guys have already murdered several people and they haven't even come out yet.
Before they're even
That's how ready
they're
ready to fight, man.
That's true.
Cannot beat the mind of a shark.
So Steve, what's next? You're writing a book.
I'm writing a book. Yeah, I just had a book come out that I helped on. It's a coffee table book by a photographer on the North Shore of Oahu. The guy's name is Brown Cannon, and it's called North, and it's all portraits of surfers and residents of.
I got one. No big deal.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Off the press.
It's like this big and weighs like 8 pounds. It's $200.
It's pretty cool.
Photos are great. So another writer and I, a guy named Bruce Jenkins, who used to write for me when I was at Surfer, we each interviewed like 10 people who are photographed in the book, and they told stories about the North Shore. It's really cool. Just came out like last week. It's great. Yeah, and then I'm writing a novel, but that will be done, God knows.
Do you have the name for it yet?
The novel?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Near Shore. One word, Near Shore. All takes place. It's about a surfer.
I had a feeling about that.
I have a feeling there's more depth to it than just surfing, though.
Right.
Actually, it's there's a whole bunch of surf in it, and I'm trying to be really disciplined about never showing anybody ride a wave. It's just kind of the world around it.
You don't want to go into the details of the gnarly cutback and
That's the most boring
sick
part.
air reverse.
Yeah.
We won't talk about.
Yeah.
We won't debate surf trick names, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
Fortunately,
Actually,
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, but Steve has been more accommodating towards me, where it's like, what would this be called? And then there are surfers that are like, no, dude, that's a 360. I'm like,
It's a 180.
or a 540.
540. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen their arguments to stuff.
Yeah, I since I've never done an air on a skateboard or a surfboard, I just stay away from that.
Yeah. But you have the basic knowledge of skate tricks. So I remember when you first showed me an alley-oop, you're like, is this an alley-oop? Like, yeah. I've never seen that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like backside alley-oop.
Why is an alley-oop called an alley-oop and a basketball where you throw the ball to the guy and he catches it? What's the similarity in those two?
Because he's turning one way.
I don't know. Alley-oop just means that someone throws the ball in the air and you jump and catch it and dunk it before you land.
Yeah, what's that got to do with
Oh,
alley-oop?
I thought it was. I thought that you catch it and you turn.
No,
at the same time. That's
just-
why that was how I always thought of it.
This guy doesn't even know what a basketball alley-oop is. Steve, can you believe this guy? Have you seen him play basketball? Atrocious. Yeah.
Wow.
Can you play basketball?
Atrocious.
I used to play a lot. Yeah.
So
my
you're better
roommates-
than Tony.
He snapped his Achilles heel.
So he's
his tendon.
better basketball
basketball.
player, better surfer, and better rider.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Rider,
Better
I don't
all
know.
around.
Riding, maybe.
No,
but-
rider like writing books and stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. This guy can write.
Yeah, right.
My roommates in college were both on the basketball team. They were 6'11" and 6'10",
Yeah.
and they were kneeboarders.
That's cheating.
Yeah, really good kneeboarders.
Knee borders.
Yeah, we used to call them half men.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
Do you call it a 6'10" dude? Half.
Yeah, we got
Nice.
along.
You got to get something on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You're almost there, dude. Just stand up. What the hell?
Oh, I used to. If you want to get into like embarrassing stories, I used to only surf on a boogie board.
Stand up on it.
Yeah, I could surf. Like I could actually ride waves, and he was tortured by it.
Why did you
Oh
want
no,
to?
that's that. Well, after you got good, I was tortured by it. Like after you figured it out. But I remember watching you the first time you got up on one, on your feet and trimmed. I was stoked because I thought, oh fuck, he's got the fever now. He's going to be a surfer.
Wait, you could stand up on a boogie board.
and
Yeah.
like go down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I was so light. That's pretty much what it was. I was so light that I could get into waves and just stand up and ride
wow.
it. Yeah, and then I remember. Do you remember we did that thing that was like the most surfers on one wave?
Yeah, that's right. That
And
was
I had
fun.
and he had to pitch me doing it on my boogie board, and they were like,
That was right. That was right at like George's.
right at George's, yeah.
At-
So
at-
right
in
in Cardiff, we were I don't know
They
if
wanted
it
to
still-
set a world record
if it
for
still
most
remains,
people on
but
one
it was
wave.
the
How
most.
many people were on it?
I think like 102.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like up and down the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
And I
insane.
remember, I had a smart idea saying let's be like the last ones in line, so when they show the photo, we'll be able to pick ourselves out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we did that. It was
You
fun.
did it.
but I did it on my boogie board.
But you stood up.
I stood up, yeah, but there were people like, sorry, surf.
I don't know, man. Standing up is all this. I changed my opinion completely. Because I'm just like lying on your tummy is just like, dude.
I know, but it in those days, I mean, this is the 80s too,
Yeah.
so it was ruthless out there.
Everybody was
just
a little more hardcore at everything, weren't they?
Sponger and whatever else. But then one day we were at Moonlight, and you had just come in, and I just took your board and caught a wave and realized how early I could catch it.
Yeah. Oh, because it's so much faster.
So much faster, and then I went down the line. I was like, I'm surfing now.
So you're a bit stubborn when you were little. Because
Yes.
why be on that boogie board for that long in the first place?
Yeah, there was no talking him into that stuff. He had to figure it out.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, I see that because when I try to tell him to get stem cells, he's like, "Shit, dude, like I'm just gonna let it ride out." You know what I mean? I'm like, have you noticed you can't look at me? Like you have to turn your whole body to see me. He's like, "Yeah, but I mean that's probably just it's just the way it's gonna play out. It's gonna play
Sounds
out."
exactly like me. Yeah. That's just the way it's gonna play out. I mean, I did at some point think like I'm just gonna resign to, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He's like, I just compensate.
It took
And
Riley.
I'll do
It
some
took
other-
Riley to be the catalyst for that.
Right.
Because Riley wanted to get it done, and so I was going to go with him. Yeah.
Because Riley was like, I'm going because it's going to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. But Riley is plagued with joint problems. Ankle.
Yeah, and you're not.
We talked about it.
And you told me that you already, I don't know if you've talked about this in the podcast yet, but you already can do the grab.
I did a week out. I did my first melon grab that I've done since I got hurt.
Yeah, so it helped.
That definitely helped. Yeah. We've already said
We're in
that.
the globe
Yes.
now, are we?
Thanks to
Maybe
Jason.
for the rest of my life.
Thanks to Jason, I did a melon grab.
Look, when
other
a
day.
guy helps you more times than you can remember, and you've helped him one time, you live in it.
Okay.
You put it
He
in a
did connect the
sandwich.
dots for us.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. I gave him deodorant and he didn't take it. Do you want it, Steve?
Oh, no, I'm taking it. I actually looked for it the other day. I
Okay,
forgot.
well-
I'm taking it.
Is there Hume deodorant
I
and
know.
body
This
spray?
is your deal, right?
Yeah.
I'll give one to Steve since he's here now.
and
you gave a whole
Is
package
this
to
like
Riley.
signature model? Deal?
No, it's
This is why you
you know
don't speak?
Salema Masakela, my good buddy, host of the X Games.
Salema, I know Salema well, yeah.
Yeah, of course you do. But he
You
and
want
I
After Rain or Wild Coral?
Don't say
Wild
it
coral
like
for sure, because
But they don't
I get
test
After
on
Rain.
animals and stuff, and when they don't test on animals, it means it doesn't work, but it does. Like I got it, and it was like I'm like, okay, I train MMA, and I'm like, if I don't stink, then it works, and I was like, okay, I really like animals, and it really works, and it smells cool and stuff. So, yeah, I'm a fan.
See, the reason I left it there was because I was waiting for
You knew
Steve
from
to
me
come.
I was
No,
coming,
that's
yeah.
for sure what
Yeah,
you
that
did.
was
Yeah,
it.
no, well done.
No, I'm just scattered.
Yeah. I can't wait to post my video. I couldn't find a cup today, Tony, to do cup cam.
Yeah.
So I did shoe cam. I used my own shoe
Oh,
to like
I've done that.
put the phone
Yeah.
up against the shoe, but
Yeah.
I did slow-mos of like a salad grind over the gap.
But isn't the shoe kind of high? Do you see the top of the shoe on the
Yeah,
on
but
the lens?
my friend painted these shoes, so they're custom shoes, and I use this one, so it says mate in the bottom of the video.
frame. It's pretty sick.
So I'm kind of pumped on it. I can't wait to edit it and
that
make
smells
it.
good.
That's the one I use. I love that one. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. I think it smells like watermelon. They don't say it on there, but that's what I get from it.
Wild Coral
Yeah.
is watermelon.
Also known.
I'll
if
tell you,
hit your head
when
enough,
Wild Coral
watermelon.
hits your back, it doesn't feel like watermelon.
Right. Yeah,
all
I
I
haven't
know.
done that.
Hey, I wanted to.
I didn't want to.
Before we sign off, I wanted to jump in and make sure we do pretty good plug for the skate park project,
Yeah.
which is kicking some ass these days, and has at this point. I don't know how much you've talked about it on the podcast, but this was the Tony Hawk Foundation that I helped to launch way back when. I was only worked on it like as an employee for like a year and a half, and then Mickey Vukovic took it over, Tony's old high school friend, who did a great job of turning it into the best organization in the world for getting skate parks built in municipalities, especially municipalities where they weren't really interested in the first place.
Yeah. He was the best advocate.
Yeah, and then he built this incredible machine, and then he left, and now we have this new executive director who's brilliant at fundraising and at finding funders for specific projects. And we were at about $1 million a year for 20 years, and now I think this year our budget's going to be 3, and next year it'll be 5. And
Yeah.
And if you're interested in getting a skate park built, don't message me or Tony. You can go to, where would you go, Steve?
No, message Steve.
Yes.
DM Steve directly.
DM Steve all day.
I'm gonna
Slide into Steve's DMs. You'll get a skate park for sure.
I'm sure.
I guarantee it.
I'm sure Benjamin won't mind if I give out his cell phone number, right?
That too, yeah. No, the process is that you have to apply for a grant and you have to meet certain criteria.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were the one that helped vet all that, because when that first year was just the Wild West, we would get
create
the most insane skate park proposals.
Yes, I feel like I kind of know.
Like
a little
someone
bit.
wrote on a napkin a bunch of jump ramps. That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just a drawing of a bunch
of jump ramps on like a paper towel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least they were 3-dimensional. It was a nice little drawing.
Yeah, and it was like, we want a skate park.
Yeah, do better. These guys really want to help, but you need to show that you really want to do something.
Yeah.
Well, but also, I mean, I'd say the takeaway from all of these years, I mean, it's over 20 years now, is that we want to empower people that do want to put the effort in to getting a skate park.
Right.
Yeah. So
We don't want to come in and go, this city needs a skate park, and there you go.
Although that's starting to happen a little bit, because the cities are coming to us. Like the city of New York decided that they want to build a park in all 5 boroughs, I think, right?
Sick.
To the tune of $3 or $4 million.
A lot, yeah. And they started
they came to us to say, help us
wanted to
figure out where to put them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And help us find who's going to design them.
Right.
And that's going to, I think we're on the path.
But that is us helping an initiative that they took upon themselves.
Right.
It's not us targeting a city
Trying to
saying
convince
that city
somebody.
needs a skate park. We're going to come in and build it, because then there's no sense of
That's right.
pride or ownership from the locals.
From the locals. Yeah, that's right.
And we want them to feel like they were empowered to do it because they wanted to do it. So that's the whole thing. And I feel like that's what you turned us. I mean, literally just saying, let's make a skate park foundation. What does that mean?
Yeah,
and then you narrowed it into, this is how we can do it if we empower the groups and whatever else.
It's an amazing idea, Steve, because skate parks.
But Steve's still a board member, very active.
They save lives, man.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really do.
Skateboarding saved my life.
That we have in some videos of kids.
Because I had one.
It's insane.
Because we had the option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what.
So skateparks.org.
Skate park.
Okay.
Skatepark.org. Sorry.
Skatepark.org. Yeah. But thanks for
Yeah.
doing the heavy lifting
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Thanks for taking
It was crazy.
Tony
Like
to
you
the
were the amount of paperwork that you had to deal with.
The paperwork
and
was
the
insane.
communication.
Yeah,
it was wild. Like it was really, and he's just up in Half Moon Bay doing himself, calling me like, yeah, we got this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, we had to file the incorporation papers with the state and all that shit.
Yeah.
That was a hassle.
Wait, are people skating now?
Tate Carew has a TV crew here.
Oh, so I wouldn't have been allowed to skate anyway?
I don't think you would have wanted to be on display.
I'm not intimidated by these turds.
Supposedly, the host is going to skate with him.
Oh,
So we should probably wrap this up and go see that carnage.
yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have no
hopefully
idea
eat
how
shit.
long we've gone.
I love
What's that?
watching
No, it's been
amateurs
good.
get wrecked.
Well,
All right.
Steve Hawk, that's my brother.
Like and describe.
Thank you for
Like and describe.
thank you. Oh, thank you for giving me your version of this skateboard.
Yeah. Oh, we never get down to that.
This is a reissue of the actual skateboard he rode and gave to me. Was my first skateboard.
Wow, Steve, you're old as fuck.
And where is it now?
Yeah, and that original is now in the Smithsonian.
Yep.
That
He and
thing
I
is-
donated it to Smithsonian. It was pretty sick.
That was pretty fun.
With white gloves.
That was you did me a solid there, because they called him up and said, we'd like to have that board. He said, well, I got to check with my brother. It's his, when it was actually. So we flew
I don't know
out.
how I held on to that board
And
through
then
all the years. I
as
really
soo-
don't.
As soon as we gave it to the Smithsonian people and signed the papers, they wouldn't let us touch it without wearing gloves.
Respect.
But
you gave it to the right people then.
But you left out that I grabbed it
But
and
then he grabbed
skated
it.
a mini ramp with it.
Wrote it. And
What they had a mini ramp in
What did they say when you did that?
at the event?
the guy was freaking out.
Yeah, he was not happy. There's photos of me. There's photos of me skating this mini ramp, and there's a little extension. So I was trying to get the top of the extension, and you see his hands in the frame of the
But
photo.
of course, Tony's like, I got to get up there. And
Just
actually
one more ride.
hit coping on it. On this board with it has
Such a nightmare.
like
Well, I don't know what they want.
original ball bearing.
They ask a skateboarder to donate something. That's what they get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you all. This is really fun.